So you've heard this story before. Earth's greatest legend and greatest champion takes on a monster so bloodthirsty that the only name they could give him is Doomsday. But what happened after that encounter? Hello Internet, hello friends, how's it going? It's Taylor Campbell here. Welcome to today's video. Okay, so to recap the story, and you've probably heard it, it's been covered again and again and again and again. But to shorten it up, Superman fights a monster called Doomsday, and the battle is huge, lots of destruction, and in the end Superman is able to take down the monster, but in the process is himself killed. And in the ensuing months, a lot of other people come up claiming to be Superman reincarnate, and things get even crazier. Superman comes back from the dead, proves he is the Superman, and life continues on as normal. But a lot of people think the story ends there. Superman's back, Superman has triumphed. But is it? In 1994, another story was released that people say is the true sequel to The Death of Superman. And it's actually really interesting. So let me tell you about it. So Superman, he's come back, and Doomsday's body, it was recovered and thrown off into space so that no one can ever mess with it. No one that can ever try to bring him back. It's done. It's over. No more Doomsday. And one of the advantages that comics has is they're able to investigate the consequences of these kinds of actions, the consequences of events, and follow through with them. The story starts with Superman jerking awake. He's freaked out. By this point, he has had nightmares every single night of the day Doomsday killed him, and that cold, dark feeling that came with death. The nightmares got so bad that Superman decided that he probably needs to follow up on this. He needs to find Doomsday's body and make sure it is safe, that nothing is happening to it. So he gets some help from the Justice League and leaves Earth to go find Doomsday, find out what happened to him, and make sure he stays down for good. Meanwhile, Doomsday's body is just kind of drifting, attached to this asteroid through space. And eventually, a space freighter comes by. It's heading towards Apokolips. It's going to make a drop of supplies, finds the asteroid and thinks, maybe we can sell this for a little bit extra money. It looks interesting. It's shaped. It's obviously man-made. They bring the asteroid in and they look at it, and holy cow, on the other side of the asteroid that they couldn't see, Doomsday is connected to it. They try flushing it out, but it doesn't work. Doomsday awakes, and he kills everyone on the ship, and then pilots the ship back to Apokolips. It lands on Apokolips, no one's there, so the troops on Apokolips board the ship, and Doomsday goes in and slaughters everything. Darkseid sees this, and says, this isn't cool, we gotta get rid of this thing. We've seen the kind of destruction it can do. It's been unstoppable on every single planet it's stopped on. Except for Earth, but we don't talk about Earth. Darkseid tries to fight Doomsday. Doomsday defeats Darkseid, almost kills him, and then continues on his rampage. Meanwhile, the cyborg Superman, the one that appeared when Superman was dead, he shows up and he's like, I was fighting my consciousness on Doomsday, and now I have inhabited another robot. Take that, I am now king of Apokolips. Superman and the Justice League get a distress signal from Apokolips saying, hey, we need help. Darkseid has been taken down, and the cyborg Superman is now in charge of Apokolips. This isn't good. We need to get back in power. And of course, the Justice League doesn't want Darkseid back and rule, but so far Darkseid can't declare war on Earth, and Cyborg Superman will. So they have to do something about this. Superman flies over to Apokolips in an effort to take down the Cyborg Superman and Doomsday once and for all. This story actually does a lot of really cool and interesting things. It discusses like PTSD and the kinds of problems that come from that. It discusses the origin of Doomsday, which thankfully is a little bit cooler than it was in Batman v Superman, and expands on the idea of like knowledge versus interference. Do you interfere with events if you know all the possible outcomes? The art is also a really interesting point. Of course, in the 90s, that's when like a lot of experimenting was happening with comic art. Colors are vibrant, colors are big, they're bold, and as a consequence of all this, no two locations look alike, which makes it really easy to transport the reader from the busy happenings of Apokolips to the glorious and beautiful landscapes that are on Earth and other places. The story also serves to expand the DC universe both in the past and in the present and up into the future a little bit as well, and kind of makes the universe feel bigger, but at the same time fairly manageable. Now, I love this book and I like it and I think it's a good read, but would I recommend it to you is the question. And that sort of depends. I wouldn't say this should be anyone's first read with Superman or their first read with Doomsday, and maybe not even like a second read, but if you have read Death and Return of Superman, you should definitely pick up this book. You can find this story in collected volumes, various collected volumes, or you can collect the individual issues released from 1994, and I'll go ahead and put that on the screen here. So, there you go. That's an interesting story that I found that I wanted to talk a little bit about. So what about you? Have you read this story? Do you have any other comics that you would like me to cover? Or you have any questions about events? Go ahead and put it in the comments down below. And yeah, let me know if you like this new kind of formula for my videos. I'm experimenting a little bit and I think this would be really cool to see. So I'd love to hear your opinions. With that said, don't forget to like the video, maybe subscribe, and until next time, thank you for joining me. Have a great day, and remember to always be your best self.